Hello, welcome to once again another extremely hard repair that we were obviously not expecting. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to an itchy update in regards to our 1954 Glasspar G2 project. And we are at a point in this project that I like to call rock bottom. Rock bottom because we are as disassembled as we can possibly get. We got this car all the way down to just the frame and the fiberglass shell. And even then, we dissected the fiberglass shell, took out its inner structure, its inner bones, basically like if I took out one of your ribs, cleaned it up and put it back together. So again, we are as far into this as we can possibly be. It's been almost half a year that I haven't put out a video on this project. And the reason for that is because I'm an idiot and I deleted months and months worth of footage due to a hard drive transfer, and I lost two, whatever. I also deleted another video that was about 90% done, which was showcasing the Arizona concourse. Well, let's not talk about that because I'm gonna get upset. But one thing about rock bottom is the only direction we can go now is up or forward in this project. So let's go over all the things we've done to the Glasspar in these last couple months, which pretty much sums up to 9 different repairs, including 3 really bad ones. Well, they're all pretty bad, but you get the point. So let's just start off with the worst one, the hood sill, because this one was a son of a b****. I started sanding down the hood sill, but there was a lot of cracks and pretty big cracks with chunks missing all along this area, and I noticed that most of that, or if not all of it, was body filler. Body filler all around the panels, I kind of expected, but in this area, it's kind of weird. No, that is not cat poop. That is actually body filler filling in a giant crevice that was supposed to be fiberglass. Now, this repair got really tricky because I had no access from the rear, and I needed access in order to properly sand and clean this area in order for us to fill it with actual fiberglass. The most helpful tool in this case was actually the cheapest, just some sandpaper on a mixing stick. All right, let's take a look at what we got going on here. Quite a bit of developments since we first discovered this. This was obviously way nastier than I first suspected, but we got it pretty cleaned up now. We lost a lot of that dead fiberglass, but we still have a lot of these areas where we had those air pockets, as well as just some unevenness. A lot of this already has that 80 grit scratch, but the uneven areas like these, they won't bond to our new fiberglass. Our new fiberglass will sit there and it will cure, but it won't be bonded, and we want it to be bonded. The other side also had some air pockets like that, full of body filler, but it was not as bad as this side. Not exactly too sure what to do with it yet. I don't really just want to stuff it with kitty hair. Even though kitty hair can be good up to ½ an inch, I don't really want to push those limits. So I think I might put some fiberglass first, build this up, and then put kitty hair, because as you can see, this moves, and I'd rather it be on fiberglass rather than just kitty hair. And all throughout this area, I even added a slight bevel, a slight curve in order to avoid rough angles. Fiberglass doesn't really like hard 90-degree angles. But not only did I have to clean this bottom part, I also had to clean the top part of the glass. It was all gunky, it's now clean. And the reason for that is so we can have a good bond between the top surface and the bottom surface, not just the bottom surface. Now we get to the fun part, which is laying down the glass. We're pretty much just doing arts and crafts here, cutting out shapes that will best fit our repair. Now this process takes quite a bit of time because we have to do it in multiple stages. If we add too much layers, the resin will overheat and crack, but if we don't add enough layers, we won't have the proper material buildup that we need. And in order to be more time efficient during the curing process, I like to jump between repairs. In this case, I was bouncing between 3 repairs: the hood sill, the headlight frame, and the front bumper cutouts. But we'll talk about those cutouts later because they were a doozy in themselves. For the headlight frame, it was being held on by hopes and dreams. The fiberglass was rotted and now separating from the aluminum frame, so we had to completely remove it, clean it, sand it, as well as clean and sand where it would sit, which being in the wheel well made it a giant pain because the sound of my air tools was just reverberating in the wheel well, as well as it was creating a tornado effect within the wheel well. It wasn't fun. It was not fun. But once we had everything cleaned up and sanded, we pretty much encapsulated that headlight frame, putting fiberglass in the front, in the rear, and over top, which came out really, really nice. It is now smooth, bonded, and ready for another 70 years of life. And now that that's done, back to the hood sill we go, which, like I said, is a grueling process, layer after layer after layer, with a ton of sanding in between, questioning all of your life choices. The biggest challenges we faced with this repair was getting the glass consistent enough where the next layer would be even flatter than the previous layer, as well as not over sanding, because we have a pretty important body line here, so we want to keep it straight without sanding a curve into this line. Alrighty folks, take a look at how much better this is looking than it was before. We still have a small channel running through here, but now it's like very tiny gap compared to what it was before, and now it's all clean and smooth, which is exactly what we wanted. At this point, I could, kind of hard to see, but there's a little dip up here. Again, I could fill it with kitty hair, but I think I want to do one more round of fiberglass. We have already stopped the flexing from this panel to this panel. It is now really well bonded, and we haven't even finished yet, so I'm excited for the end result. And that's the thing with fiberglass, is it looks pretty ugly when you're working it up until the last like 10%. Then it starts coming to life, and you get the point. Are you guys ready to see how it came out? I gotta say, before you see it, no, let's just see it. Look at that, ladies and gents. Holy cannoli, compared to the big ol' gash, cave, crack, whatever the heck you want to call it. I mean, take a look. That is a straight up fiberglass edge now. I'm gonna go ahead and toot my own horn because that looks freaking amazing, and I hope Robert likes it because that took a whole lot of work. But I'm really happy with the way it came out. I don't think it could have came out any better. But that's only 30% of the hood sill. We got a lot more work to do. We move over to the driver's side, and it's not so pretty. I dug out a ton of that filler. It goes all the way from here to the front, and the fiberglass is actually split in this area, so we're gonna redo that. Also, I want to say that there is a crack developing here from this hole to this hole, and it kind of extends down a little bit. So before that gets any worse, we're gonna go ahead and lay some new fiberglass on top of there. For these holes, however, I think we're gonna use kitty hair because the fiberglass mat is not going to want to get stuffed in there. Towards the back side of the hood, it gets a little ugly here. There's a big groove. That's gonna need quite a bit of work. We hit triple digits today in Arizona. It was 103 degrees. So inside the suit, it was like 130 degrees. You guys are lucky you're seeing me through a screen because I stink. It is almost gonna be 8 p.m. So I'm gonna get the hell out of here and start again tomorrow. With the hood sill repair, we also had to replace some of the fiberglass underneath because it was lifting quite a bit. And while that cured, I also took care of 8 different holes that had to be deleted. Now these holes were for a tonneau cover or a half car cover. These holes were about 1/8 of an inch, which made for a pretty easy repair. What we did was sand and concave the area, cleaned it, then primed it with a little bit of resin. Then we applied 2 to 4 sheets of fiberglass mat. Once we sanded that new fiberglass smooth, it was followed up with some kitty hair. This repair was pretty easy, but it just had to be repeated 8 different times. So I just want to quickly touch back on some of that footage that we lost fiberglass because we had some pretty good stuff in there, including some extreme repairs on the doors. And when I say extreme, I mean extreme. The aluminum structure inside the doors had completely detached from the fiberglass. The corners were disintegrating, and there was damage all along the perimeter from the doors being misaligned or previous repairs. These doors were busted. So we got to work removing all of that dead old fiberglass, cleaned up and rebonded some of that aluminum structure. This was a huge pain. The amount of sanding and digging that we had to do was but it yielded a result that I am extremely happy with, and it will make for a better finish. The inside and around the frame now look completely smooth and buttery and ready for paint. We added up to an inch of material on the door perimeters that had chipped away. If only it was that easy to add an inch, huh fellas? Lastly, we deleted some extra holes that were in the door for whatever reason, as well as rounded off the corners, which is a major design change that we're making with this build to reduce some of the stress on those door sill corners. Now, I really wish I had all of that footage to present to you guys because, again, it was some really good stuff. I did pay for a hard drive recovery service. It was $90, and what I got back was this. So I was only able to get back a fraction of the footage, and it looked completely potato-like, so it is what it is. And finally, we can get to what was arguably the most difficult repair, because it was a twofer. 2 for 1 for those of you who were born yesterday, and that is the front bumper cutouts. This was definitely the one that took the longest because it had so many dimensions to it. This repair was super complex because these holes were already mangled. On one side, it looked like it was attacked by an angle grinder and had this removable piece for whatever reason I assumed was for the fiberglass body to be able to lift up without removing that bumper bracket, but that doesn't make sense once we look at the other side. So for the driver bumper cutout, it was for some reason twice as long and had no removable piece, so it really doesn't make sense why one side had a removable piece. And on top of all of that, those two holes were offset. Our goal here was to make them look nice, to make them resemble some sort of shape known to man. Because we had the wheel well structure point right behind them, which was also damaged, that meant we had to work the entire area behind the grill. Pretty much all the structure points behind the grill have new fiberglass. And once we had built enough material, we were finally able to start shaping those cutouts, which was probably the easiest part. Oh, on top of that, there was 2 mounting points that mounted the body onto the frame, and those were completely disconnected and just floating within that fiberglass. I'm telling you guys, this car was at rock bottom. So once we worked that sandpaper a little bit, those bumper cutouts came out really, really nice, and I'm happy with them. It's kind of crazy because it is hours and hours worth of work for an area of the car that will likely never be seen. It is kind of hard to stomach, but it does feel really good inside knowing that it is set and repaired correctly, and it has a shape that resembles a shape. Lastly, I want to give a huge thanks to Kenneth Solis, Matt McDonald, Adam McCann, Kevin Campbell, Donald Webb, Tommy Bryant, Timothy Sailheimer, David Allen, Ryan Macy, Scott Breach, and I'm really sorry for butchering this one, Thaddeau Briao. Ooh. I'll just put your name right here. Thank you all for your recent orders on our website, whether that is a scrap tee or a scrap staying sticker. You guys really do help keep the lights on in this place and keep this shebang going. So I appreciate you guys with all of my heart. We will get into that rib removal and installation in the next video because that presented its own set of challenges. I hope you guys enjoyed this itchy episode. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Thaddeau Briao. Thaddeau Briao. Thaddeau.